welcome to Studio 125 Multimedia Complex. This is your local business highlight. I am your host, J.R. King. We're honored to sit here today with our highlighted guest. He's a digital creator, a director, a producer, a sound engineer, a father, and an influencer of community strength. Studio 125 Multimedia Complex welcomes J. Paul the DEMIGOD. How you doing, brother?
Can't call it, King, man. Can't call it, man. I'm blessed to be here, man. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you for coming.
Man, no problem, man. Most stuff, man. Most stuff.
All right, for the people who don't know, which most of Augusta should know, for the people who don't know, let's start out with where you from originally.
Originally, I'm from Vidalia, Georgia, Toombs County, which is Lowndes and Vidalia. It's a small little town outside, like 30 minutes from Swainsboro, Georgia. An hour and some change from Savannah. 2 hours from Atlanta, 2 hours from here. So it's like we known for onions out of all things.
Valdosta.
No, Vidalia.
Vidalia.
Yeah, it's Vidalia, then it's Valdosta. A lot of people get Valdosta and Vidalia confused.
Yeah.
But it's Vidalia. We known for the onions. So you ever heard of like Vidalia onions? That's where I'm from, that place.
Even though you said that, it still went to Valdosta. Even though, you know what I'm saying? What's up, man? So you came across my radar for your movies, your podcast. I caught your podcast first.
Yeah.
But then to find out you started out with music. Mm-hmm. So I like to start the podcast there.
Okay.
How long have you been doing music?
Doing music forever. Still do music now. It's just that I do it in a different I put it in a different format. So it's like instead of me being the front man rapping and performing and stuff like that, I do more producing and far as songwriting and composing and recording engineering and stuff like that. But music, man, I've been doing music forever. I started making beats first. I started rapping first. Started doing the rap, freestyling. Where Vidalia don't really have like opportunities like that. You come from a small country town, they really no opportunities like that. So we went to Savannah to record. You used to go to Savannah to record.
Right.
We went there one time to the studio called The Underground. And this dude named Nayu, it's a Rasta guy. He used to record us, like my first project. And so that was like my first time meeting a Rasta man, getting in a big studio, like a whole lot of things. So he had like everything that you could imagine in the studio. And like, that's my first time ever being in the studio. I was young too, like real young. Mm-hmm. So, I started making beats, man, at 9 on the PlayStation. PlayStation 1 had an MTV generator. This game called an MTV generator. It was just like FL before FL Studio. Mm-hmm. So, I used to be on that real heavy, man, making beats, selling beats off that thing, man. A lot of people didn't believe I was making beats on PlayStation because, like, PlayStation. Yeah, but then they used to actually come up to the house and actually watch me make a beat on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then buy the beat.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been doing music forever, man. It's like, this is in me. I'm a musician. I play keys, piano, a little bit of guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's well-rounded, man.
Well-rounded, man.
Well-rounded, brother. That's what's up. Now, I would like to point out in this story, the parents always getting on the kids' ass about wasting time on video games. Mm. You made a career out of yours.
Right.
You made a career out of yours, man. That's what's up, man. So like I say, I found you on your podcast, and I really want to shout you out on that. It's really dope, man. You have all kind of artists that come through. How long have you had your podcast?
Down here 4 years, but New Vet been going on for at least about 7, 8 years. But in the city in Augusta, we've been doing it for like going on 4 years down here. It's a try to highlight all the everybody that got some traction as far as artists, activists, radio executive, different people like that, So we try to interview everybody that come there, politicians. We done interviewed a couple politicians, governors, like, we interview people that, you come with a story, you want to, we can sit down and talk it up, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's what's up, man. So how do you go about finding them? Do you do it all yourself, all the groundwork yourself, or do you have a team working with you?
Well, at first, you know how it's kind of hard to get people to, come out and certain things. Even if you reach certain people you want to do interviews with, it's hard to get in contact with them, or they
Right.
don't respond back at a certain time or something like. So basically, what it was a tactic that I tried out for Augusta because I know what Augusta is like. Augusta has a lot of that entitlement thing that a lot of people feel like they're entitled for certain things without actually putting in the work to gain that notary in the first place. But I just feel like what I did was I started like the first 2 years in Augusta, I just did interviews for free. Like the host, everybody. Like I interviewed everybody for free. So it was
Right.
like I needed to get the name and the brand out there faster. And I know if I put a ticket on it, you probably still have it, but it won't be the numbers won't be there as far as the reach you're making in the city.
Right.
So I did that for 2 years, and it just did itself. It's like I started interviewing some of the popular artists, some of the popular people in the city, and you already know people follow they fake, so that's how people start coming in, and then next thing you know, it just I people hit me up, hey, I want to book a newbie vet, and I was like, okay, do this time, this and this and that, and yeah, so.
You got to the point where people reach out to you now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like at first I was reaching out to everybody. I had a lot of no's, of course. I had a lot of reads and don't responds, and I had some people that did reach out and do comment. I appreciate everybody that did hit the platform. And then the crazy thing about it, certain of the ones that left me on red are the same one I interviewed a year later.
Yeah.
After everything blew up, so now everybody wants to get on it. So it's like, but now is the platform's doing pretty good. I'm actually looking for someone to actually be the face of the platform of that because I done built the brand up for that.
Right.
And I'm venturing out into like some other platform stuff. So I'm actually trying to find someone to be the face of Newbie Vet as far as everything. So
Okay. What direction are you taking? You say you're heading to some new platforms.
basically I do so many other things, man. And just like I have to start balancing my time more. And because just my kids getting older, man, and just you got so much stuff that you want to do, and it's hard to do when you multi-talented with so many things. And it's like you trying to decide what do I put first, what's a higher priority than this one, and stuff like that. Because especially if you're a musician like me, music is my life. I've been away from music for 5 years. I haven't dropped the album or a song in 5 years, so it's like being away from that was heartbreaking for me because it's like that's like you telling your child, your firstborn, somebody that's coming in is taking your firstborn away. You don't see him for like 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, but I did that for a reason on the strength of the other elements, the newbie vet. Because if I didn't take that break with the rap, it wouldn't be no newbie vet interview. It wouldn't be no movies. It wouldn't be nothing else. Because I put all my attention on that music and stuff like that.
Right. Speaking of movies, how did you get into film production?
I had a partner, man, named Chop, professor, from Anderson, South Carolina. I moved to Anderson, South Carolina a couple years back, and he used to have a studio down there I used to go chill out with and hang, and I used to make beats for his artists. He had a couple artists that I used to make beats for and stuff. So I used to be like the in-house producer in there. I still have my own brand, my own stuff going on, but I used to go to their studio, work out of their studio before I had my own. But yeah, so I used to just see how this man used to, didn't work. Like he worked for himself. Like at that time I was working, a job, and I was still doing the music and stuff like that. And I was working because I had a big family,
Right.
huge family, like 5, 6 members in that one family. So you gotta have a job, a good job anyway. Cause but I just seen how this man was just doing it, man. He was taking care of his family. He was working. I mean, as far as working for himself, but he was making music, recording, running a studio business, and doing movies at the same time. Well, he was just getting into the filmmaking, but his first film blew up. So it was like, yeah, like that was like kind of an inspiration, seeing him do that. And I'm like, okay, a black man can do that. There's someone in the hood that I know that can make changes like that. And I just see the changes that he was doing in his neighborhood too with that. You know what I'm saying? He was giving people opportunities and, all types of stuff.
Okay. So your company CTC United.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you had that?
CTC, it was Crunktown Records since it was established in '98.
Crunk Time?
It was called Crunktown.
Okay.
Crunktown Records. And that was, just the sound of it. That was during the crunk era.
Yeah. Some
You can
crunk in
tell
the
it.
system.
So yeah, so during that time, that was the name back then. I was really young then. When I came up with that name, I was 15, Crunktown Records. So
Okay.
15 years old. But then the older you get, you got to show growth. So I changed it to CTC United as champions teaching champions.
I love it.
So it's like, yeah, so, just showing growth, had to change the name up and stuff like that. But it started in 1998, the blueprint of everything.
Okay. 24 years? That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time, man. Congratulations
That's a long
on the longevity
time,
of it,
bro.
man.
Long time, bro.
So you are the first black film production studio in Augusta.
In Augusta.
Congratulations
In Augusta,
on that.
man. I appreciate that, man. I mean, I did research on the city before I even decided to do what I wanted to do because, the city has a lot of recording studios already.
Mhm.
And I know I didn't want to just have just a recording studio. I've been trying to have things that, I feel like in order for you to make some type of profit in a city that's flooded and, saturated with things, you have to go outside of the box or add some other elements to it that make it more different or whatever to be in business.
Mhm.
So just studying the landscape of Augusta, I just like, okay, they got too many recording studios. They got too many things. So when I first moved to the city, I was trying to figure out, okay, which one of my talents is most needed in this city? Because, when I went to Charleston, I made a name in Charleston in 3 months.
Okay.
So same way that I get known now here, I'm known in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
That's my home. That's my spot. I love it. But I love Charleston. Shout out Charleston.
Oh, do you have any upcoming projects?
Yeah, man. I have the Blood Was Shed Tonight movie. It's a horror film. We shot that in Augusta. It's actually still in production at the moment. We got like maybe 3 more scenes to do, and then we'll be done with that film.
Okay.
We got then the Cheater's Handbook. That's a comedy film. It's real dope. Both of those come out Halloween. And then I got 2 more projects coming out in November and 2 more coming out in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're working hard, man.
Man, trying to stay on it, man. Trying, man. Trying.
That's what's up. So when you're filming one of these movies, how long does it usually take?
Say that again?
How long does it usually take to film a movie?
It depends on, like, when you're filming the movies, it depends on, like, okay, if you're doing a full length, say, like, you're doing a full length, which is like an hour and 30 minutes or something like this, a full length. It depends. It depends on location. It depends on story, plot, depends on characters, depend on what you read in the book. Because it's like, your script. Because it's like, you can do a whole movie in a day in one house if you just had enough actors that's willing to do that and film that one spot in one area. Like
Right.
This area out here, you can film a whole movie out here in this whole area. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to go nowhere. So the location, the travel, and all that cuts out a lot of time because in production it's all about timing. So each scene, like, estimate probably like 15 to 20, 30 minutes to do one scene. I mean, that just depends. That's at least.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it just
everybody get in and knock out their lines and all of that.
Right. But just the rarity of people coming in knocking it out the first round is kind of rare a little bit.
Yeah.
So you got your takes and stuff like that. So it's so much stuff that goes into play. When it comes to movies, short films can be from 1 minute, 30 seconds, 1 minute to 5 minutes to 20 minutes, whatever, can be a short film. So it just depends on the details and the material that you adding in it or whatever.
Okay. So when you're producing the movie, first of all, do you write your own movies?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
So when you're writing your movie, how do you go about casting?
We used to do in-house casting where people used to come in and do it, but we were missing out a lot of talent like that because a lot of people can't make it to the casting call for that day and stuff like that. So we do virtual castings now. That way everybody has an opportunity to get into films. You can see it in your audition reel. Or, it might be a film where I might already have some actors that I've been working with forever. Like, you might see, that's one reason Tyler Perry uses the same actors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because people don't understand when you're doing a movie, and stuff like that. If you got 15, 20 people, 20 cast members on a film, one person can't be off. Because one person being off can delay a whole film.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's very important to have your cast members on point. You gotta, if it's 25 people on there, 25 people gotta be on point. You know what I'm saying? One person be 2-3 hours late, it could put the production behind weeks. When you working in these movies, you gotta treat these like auditions. Because, say like if you leave a good impression with somebody, that's the lasting impression they'll have of you until otherwise you give them something otherwise.
That's right.
So, that's why Tyler Perry, Adam Sandler, Seth Rogen, a couple other people use the same actors because, okay, I know how this person works.
Mm-hmm.
I know this person's strengths and weaknesses. I know I can depend on this person to be there on time. I know this person is dependable when it comes to a film. So, yeah, that's how I be selecting different things like that. I see if you're dependable, we can trust you enough to be on time.
Right.
And your dedication to the film. Yeah, so those are that all directors look for, really.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It's got to be really important.
Yeah, man.
Can't depend on your people, man. It just makes everything too hard.
Right.
Do you guys do any TV series?
Yeah, we do TV series too. I just finished one for a client. I don't do the TV series. I film them for people.
Okay.
I film my own movies, but I film TV series. But I did Love and Hip Hop Augusta. I filmed that one. Shout out to Shaw Star. She's a dope writer. She's the one that came up with Love and Hip Hop Augusta parody. That went viral. It had got so big it hit Mona Scott. Mona Scott, was like looking. You know what I'm saying? But she, that was a dope little idea. Couple other reality shows. I did a few documentaries. Bunch of movies. I had some movies. Bunch of music videos, of course. I kind of stopped doing music videos in a way too, by the way. It's just music videos have. I filmed music videos for over 15 years, and it's kind of like, dealing with artists. A lot of the artists, don't have stuff mapped out, don't have stuff planned out.
Right.
And then as a videographer, you want your catalog to look presentable and look good too as well for other people to come in and admire your work, to want to book you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you start getting artists where it started becoming more of like less creativity, more, you get money, but it wasn't no creativity that was being brought in. And it was like, you can't go to a videographer and be like, all right, I got to use all your ideas, that's their job. Yeah. But you got to at least come to the table with something, like give me something. Like you can't be like, the song would be about we in the mall popping bottles, or we in the club popping bottles or whatever, but we on the front porch the whole time filming this music video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I can't make nothing out of this. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I can do is chop this up really good. But that's the problem that a lot of artists have in the music video. They don't have no creativity. They don't sit down and think of an idea, a plan. They don't know that an idea can make your song sell just by what you put in the video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody know that a lot of these videos don't even match the songs. You know what I'm saying? But they still dope creative video. But I think a lot of people need to get into their creative mindset and use their imagination and think more of videos besides just pulling out a gun, besides throwing money and twerking and
having strippers
and stuff like that. I get it. It's for the culture. It's for the, but we're going to do this for another 10 years?
Is it really for the culture?
Is it really for the culture? Right.
You know I think we about to pass that stage.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, there's only so much creativity you can do with twerk. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much creativity that you can do with it because, when you twerking, you only using what? Butt and thighs, if that and knees.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
So it's like, I just feel like, that go for men and women. I just feel like just need to have better ideas on far as visuals. I think because that also, that makes the video shoot better. Views will go up a lot more because you have more meaningful stuff in your video.
Right.
Yeah.
You're jack of all trades, man. You got your hand in all kinds.
Man, my hands in everything, man. Like I tell people, I'm not a professional of nothing, but I'm a jack of trade everything. Like I said, because it's like, you you got to put a lot of. Well, I'm a professional music. I've been doing music all my life,
Right.
but as far as everything, I try to learn. I try to put my hands in everything. For it, long as it fits in my criteria. As far as like with music, music was the tree.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I do is related to music. It's like the first cousin or brother, sister of music. Movies, you can't have a movie without a soundtrack, sound effects, music, interviews, all that ties into entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically everything I do is still relating back into the entertainment realm. So I try to stay in that entertainment realm, but try to capitalize on things that I can capitalize with. Cause I try not to do so much neither.
Right.
You also don't want to do too much neither, because you don't want to confuse people. Like, what are you? What do you do?
You gotta have a balance, man.
Right.
That's kind of where I was taking it next. Since you have so many things, it kind of have to be like a blessing and a curse. You
Right.
know, being good at so much,
Man.
because it's never going to be enough time. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
my question to you is, how do you find balance? You have your work life, you have kids. You know, how do you balance the two?
That's a good question. That was a real good question, man. Reason I said that's a good question because it's a gift and a curse. I done been through it all like my whole life, as far as like trying to balance, and that was been like, you know, I can really admit to say like balancing was like one of my main problems at one point.
Right.
Because it's like, when you're raising a family, when I'm going through a divorce now.
Okay.
But at that time, when you're raising a family, it's like you want so much for your wife, you want so much for your kids. And it's like you want a better life for all of them. So you bust your tail, you work hard, but people don't understand that, like, okay, in order for me to go hard at this time going to be less and more.
Mm-hmm.
This time going to be less and more. And it's like, when you start doing that, you're making the money, you paying your bills, you're taking care of all that, but you starting to realize, dang, I'm losing time with my daughter, I'm losing time with my son, losing time with this. But it had got to a point where when I started working for myself, and all my time and efforts had to go with the business. Because if you're working by yourself, like I have a team, but I still hands on. I still do mostly everything myself because I want things done the right way. Until I could feel like I could put people in that position where I'm comfortable enough where I be like, okay, I ain't got to worry about you doing a great job or whatever. I still have to look behind you because my brand name is on it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, balancing, man, like that was kind of a tricky thing to do, man, because like I was so deep into my work that, I didn't have time for my wife. I didn't have time for a lot of things because I was too busy trying to get money to pay bills and buy the equipment that I need to make more money to grow my company and different things up like that. So, yeah, it can be really devastating sometimes as far as being multi-talented, because if you're a musician, just that job by itself is a job by itself. But just adding on filming, interviewing, everything else on top of that, that cuts out time dramatically.
Yeah.
So, but I started later on. I started learning like, okay, I cut out a lot of things. Like I don't shoot music videos really that much no more. Like I took a break on that. I try to give that, at least, that'd be more work for the up and coming videographers and stuff like that. So I chop shooting videos. I chop going to performances. I don't record artist performances. I don't do, it's a lot of stuff I don't really do anymore just so I could have time for my kids and make balance.
Balance is the key.
Yeah, man.
Balance is the key, man.
Oh, yeah.
How long, if you don't mind me asking, what age did you get married?
24.
24.
24.
I got married the same.
24
years
24.
old.
24. I married, I can honestly sit here and say, man, like, I wish I should have waited. Not saying like my situation, I just felt like I mean, at that time, I think we both jumped in too soon, early. And you know how you get in something and then you were like, okay, we got to build this. Marriage is building anyway.
That's right.
And, it's a both it's a learning experience. You both got to learn each other. It's like an experiment.
Yeah. At first, you got to learn your damn self.
You got to learn your damn self. So it's like, and then it's like, by me being on my own for so long and then getting this, cause it was like I was by myself, and then boom, I got with her, instant family. You know,
Yeah.
she already had kids and stuff like that with instant family. So trying to make a transition and on from being a single man to stepfather like that was like a kind of a, you know what I'm saying?
I understand 100%. I do.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just wish that we should have gave it a little bit more time. And I think because of time difference, because she was older than me. She was 11 years older than me.
Okay.
Well, I just felt like at the time we should have waited because we like a year. We was together for a year, and then after that year we got married. You know what I'm saying? So we was together like a year and a half, going on 2 years.
Yeah,
And then the second year we got married the third year. So we got
Okay.
married the third year. So we was together for like 2 years, and my mindset at the time was young minded, and I just felt no one taught me about marriage. No one taught me about raising a family or nothing like that. So those things that you have to learn on your own. You know what I'm saying? So
the hard way.
the hard way.
The hard way.
The hard way.
And I'm talking about it's going to be the hard way.
The hard
There's no
way.
other way around
The
it.
hard way.
Your story sounds very similar to mine.
Yeah.
I met my wife at 23, and then we got married a year later. And we don't have kids together, so I understand what you mean. I was by myself, and then we have kids, and now I'm a stepdad.
Yeah.
But then she ended up helping me get custody of mine, and then we had the Brady Bunch kind of family.
Right.
It was kind of immediate, and I wasn't ready.
Right.
I don't regret it. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't a man. I wasn't nowhere near being a man. I was just a grown ass boy at that time.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So until I got like 30, and then I started to see life differently, and I was like, oh shit, I need to start changing. By that time, like I say, we learned the hard way. And by learning the hard way, you've done so much damage by that time. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's that man. You nailed it. Get that man 100 points.
Yeah, man, that's it.
Man,
You've
that's
done
crazy.
so much damage, man.
Man, it's like you right, bro. That's identical. It's identical. Like I said, man, I just felt like, she's a good woman. Like, totally good woman. Very, very good woman. I would never talk bad about her, negative about her, because I can't talk negative about her.
Right.
Our personal experiences was our personal experiences. But I just felt like, I just felt like we should have waited, man. And I just felt like you said, just at the time I was young-minded. I did a lot of young-minded things and then, like you said, you do so much damage, and then when you finally get to a point where it's like, okay, let me straighten up, let me tighten up. It'd be kind of too late then, because it's like, okay, the damage is done.
It's done.
It's done.
It's permanent.
It's permanent.
Too, you can ease it, but you can never take it away.
Man. Yeah. And I just feel like some women, I just feel like some women, if you see that your man, or you see that they're trying, or they're, you see the path that they're going, you can see where somebody's going and see where they're hard at, and see if their intentions are pure or where they're going to do with it. Or they just using this for the scapegoat route or something like that. But if you actually see them putting in the work, trying their hardest or whatever, stick with that person.
That's right.
You never know where it's going to go. Don't give up on people too fast. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, man. You don't give up on them. I would suggest that if you're gonna take the time, just make sure you're growing together. What I've learned is we were living together, we were married, but we were growing separately. I was growing in my own way because I was dealing with my childhood traumas and the things that I had been through that I wasn't, finished with when I met her. And she was doing the same thing. And then if you do that for a couple of years, by the time you realize you guys then kind of grew apart.
Right.
So I would suggest, self-therapy by yourself. And then once you deal with your childhood traumas, then bring them together and then have couple therapy. That way you're well-rounded and you have a lot of tools, And as far as advice, as for the females with guys, I got a whole book. Not really, I got a whole book, man.
Yeah,
My
man.
main thing is they have to realize that we communicate differently.
Yeah.
We're more logical.
We love different.
We do. And we're more
different.
straightforward. Females are more emotional, and we have to learn balance and how to communicate that to each other. I say both of them, not just one side. Guys got to know
too,
that when the female comes with the emotions, that it's not an attack all the time. We feel like it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if they come with their emotions, we kind of like shut that off. And we have to learn how to deal with that. And on the flip side, females have to learn how to control that a little more.
Mm.
You know, those are
Right.
just things that
Right.
we've learned over time, you know.
Right.
Like I say, man, I got a whole book. It's been 15 years for us.
Mm.
It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, about same thing, 15.
Yeah.
15.
Well, man, let's get back to your business.
Yeah, man.
Do you have any advice for anybody that would be coming up in your footsteps? Anybody's coming to do music, want to open up their own studio, their own film production? What would be your advice for them?
Keep your circle small, for one. Keep your circle small. You don't need a group of people. You don't need 80 people in a team.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 people are good. You can run a company with 3 people.
That's right.
So 2, 3 people. Keep it small. Don't tell everybody your ideas or plans. Just do it. Yes. I tell a lot of people, stop. Think about me. Anybody that knows me, they'll know that I don't let nobody talk about plans around me. Don't talk about what you're going to do around me if you haven't did it or you ain't putting it into motion. Like, it's not already into play. Mm-hmm. Like, because like I've just growing up, you done been around a lot of black people. Not just it's a lot of that. What we doing is, I got this going. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and it never gets done.
Yep.
And I had got to a point in my life now where it's like I don't want to hear about nothing that you're going to do. Just tell me what you already did, what you already done, or what you working on in the process of working on. What I can see or I can, whatever. Because you get burned a lot from a lot of people telling you what they're going to do, and they never produce anything. Yeah. So I tell a lot of people, man, just do it. Do the proper research before you do it. Study the land. Survey the land, like see what your the demographics look like. See where, if you're doing interviews, okay, who you gonna interview? What you gonna talk about? What's your layout? Like, what's your plans? Like, what's the time status? Are you charging or you not charging? Like, so many things you gotta do. If you're doing videos, like, okay, what you charging with? Are you charging by hour? Or are you charging by straight fee? You take a deposit? So many things that, like I tell people, study what you doing. That's no different if you go on to play basketball. You got to know the game of basketball in order to go to the NBA. So, just take your craft serious, whatever you're trying to do. One thing I hate about TikTok got everybody thinking that everybody can do everything.
Like this.
Like this.
Like that.
Like that. Like, so it's like, nah, man, actually research stuff, man. Like, actually, because you be amazed, like, when you dive deep into what you're trying to do, so much stuff that you got to know about just to get started. Even creating a business, getting a building, you got to know what you got to do with doing that, too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, and also get your personal life in order. You can't run a business or do anything if your personal life ain't in order. Mm-hmm. So, because how you going to be able to run an operation if you can't even pay bills at the house, or you have them behind on bills at the house, or you just blowing your money on nonsense, on miscellaneous stuff. Like, take care of your personal life. Like, you can't be already in debt and trying to open a business up. You know what I'm saying? That's backwards.
That's right.
That's backwards because it's going to require so much to open that business up in the first place. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then these days now where we're going, they credit checking everything. So, like I said, you got to get your personal life right. So,
Okay. Well, being in the business where you have to deal with people head on, one-on-one most of the time, what would be your advice for that side of it?
Work on your customer service skills. Work on your customer service skills. Like, you gotta know how to talk to people. That's a big thing, man. You gotta know how to treat people like how y'all treated me when I came in here. I love it. Good Southern hospitality. Ask me to want something to drink. A lot of people don't even ask that when you're going to, certain places. Like, but the hospitality, like, you gotta treat your customers, the clients. You gotta treat them like, hey, you want them to come back. You know what I'm saying? Don't treat them like, okay, you here for this? Oh, okay. Like, you come to me. Yeah. Like, that type of thing. So, treat you, if you talking to people head on, you got to know customer service skills. You got to know how to talk to people. And you got to know about handling the business the right way. If you tell somebody that you're going to have something done at this date, have it done on that date. Right. Don't, I'm gonna have it done on Monday. They don't get it to Sunday. The next Monday coming, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. So, what about the customers that you work with? I know that it's usually an artist, maybe a rapper, a singer,
Mhm.
and then you may have somebody that brings you a TV series that they want done.
Yeah.
What are some of the advice when somebody has a project and they're bringing it to you and they want you to bring my dreams to reality? What would be your advice for that person?
Um, I tell them like, okay, I listen to the idea first, and then once I hear the idea, and they were like, okay, can you make this happen? And I let them know like, okay, well, first off, you gotta get proper procedures in order first. You gotta budget wise. When people hate to hear that word budget,
Yeah.
they hate to hear the word, but oh man, this man talking about some money. Yeah, it's take money.
Yeah.
I mean, especially doing a movie. I mean, I shoot movies and I gotta come out the pocket. And I got all the equipment and everything, but you still have to come out the pocket because you gotta buy props. You might have to pay for an actor. You might have to pay for travel, hotel costs, book the locations, and so you still got to come out the pocket. Then you gotta you gotta feed your actors every time you film.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So it's like you gotta think it's money, every come out of the pocket. So you don't get that back until the movie's done, and if the movie sells.
Right.
So but like I tell people, like get your budget right. Like find a budget for it. It don't gotta be no huge budget, but stay within your budget. That's another thing I tell people: stay within your budget, because it's like when people be planning for videos and movies and other things, they think of outrageous stuff they see in Hollywood and be like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I want to fly, and then I'm going to jump off the plane, and I want you to catch me skydiving the earth, and then I'm going to land on the ground like some Superman stuff. I'm like, okay. First of all, you got to get in a plane. Unless you're going to green screen it, and it's going to look or CGI it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to get things in order. So I can tell people, write to what your budget is. If you're writing a movie and your budget is $1,000, okay, write a movie that's just $1,000 budget.
Right.
Don't write $1 million movie and then your budget is $1,000. We can't get none of that done. You ain't got a mansion. I woke up in a mansion with 2 women on my side. Okay, what mansion are we going to use, sir?
Right. Now we in the apartment.
Now we in the apartment.
Now we in the apartment.
We can make this apartment look like it. Yeah, I guess. So
Right.
and movies, you gotta think movies is all fake anyway. So it's like with movies, like we can, you can make a corner of a room can be a scene because it's all about the illusion in movies. That's all. Right. That's what it's all about. The illusion. It's nothing real. It's just all about illusion. So yeah.
That's dope, man. I love what you guys got going on, and I love that there's someone in town that's black owned that's doing it to show the young ones that's coming up that it's even possible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. I grew up in right here in Augusta, and if somebody would have told me when I was growing up that there'll be black people doing movies in Augusta, I'd be like, nah. Music, movies, nah. Because you only saw white people doing it. Right. You only saw Hollywood. Of course, the internet wasn't what it was back then. We was growing up.
Right.
So everything was less accessible, but I wouldn't have believed that it's possible. And for you to bring it here, man, I take my hat off to you. I salute you for that, my bro.
I appreciate that.
But so once you finish a movie, how do you go about getting it out to people like Tubi and platforms?
They got video placement organizations that do that. And I have a friend at Film Plug. He basically puts me on and stuff like that. And you basically once you get done with a movie, like I tell people, once you get done with a movie, okay, most people don't make no money off their movies. They shoot the movies and they post it up and try to get views, and hopefully it'll go viral enough or something like that. But you don't really make your money back in the movies that you invest in unless you actually you have like a big main studio behind it or something like that. Or unless, like I said, you work your budget into, or your writing game is so good that you can, cut out, because you can cut off budget by just your writing game.
Right.
So, but like I said, selling it, you basically pitch them to like different companies. You got Maverick. Maverick buy a lot of independent films. Film Plug, of course. It's like a couple other film placement organization where they do that, get your film. Once you get the CCs and all that, which is closed caption, you get the subtitle, which basically the subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get all that, you pay for that to get done because you got to have somebody to go through the whole movie and then type all that in.
Yeah.
For the subtitles, like everything you're saying got to be typed in.
Man, computer do mine on YouTube for free.
Right. But you know, you got to be able to. But you have to. It has to be able to be encoded in that so that way when they put it on the placements, whatever, they'll take it. But once your movie's done, you send it off to them. You tell them about it. You got to have a trailer with it. They'll watch the movie. If they like the movie, they'll give you a deal. They're like, okay, well, we like the movie. We'll give you $5,000 for the movie. Now you either accept that movie or not. You accept that movie, that's your $5,000, but you don't own the rights to that movie no more.
Yeah. So if it go big,
you just got $5,000 out that movie. So that's what that's what they be doing. Mm-hmm. Me, I don't try to do it that way. I don't go by that way because it's like, okay, I want rights of all my stuff. Yeah. You know, and then if it blows, I want it to blow under my company. I don't want it to blow under somebody else's company and I just get the notary of the name. Mm-hmm. No, I want the notary and I want the time and the money I invested in that to come back.
That's right.
The fruit of my labor. Like I want to feel my fruit of the labor. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. I just felt like that's just like with Studio 125, man. You don't want to put all this work in and then somebody come in and then, you know, they want to buy it from you. You ain't finna sell it. Like, I mean, you buy it. I mean, I don't know if you do or not, but just, you ain't finna sell it. Not for no $5,000.
No. Not for $5,000.
Not no $5,000 or nothing like that. So, you know.
But everything is negotiable.
Yeah.
Everything in life is negotiable. We never say no.
Never say no.
Never say die.
I ain't say I wouldn't sell it. I just said not no $5,000.
Never $5,000.
Not no $5,000.
That's right. Is it similar to putting out music?
Yeah. Yeah, you can look at it like that. Like you drop a movie like you drop a mixtape or something. Right?
Yeah.
But the difference is between music that I like about film, the difference between music and film. A lot of people, film has a larger reach than music, way larger reach.
Right.
I didn't understand that until I got into film. When I was just doing music, you gotta think when you're doing music, okay, they base you in genres. If you're in hip hop, you're in hip hop. You in gospel, you in gospel. But for the most part, people like to stick in their genres. So it's like if you do hip hop, you know, just that alone right there, just you done cut yourself out of so many people that can really pay attention to you because everybody don't listen to rap.
Yeah, most people gonna be turned off by the word hip-hop.
Hip-hop. Yeah. So some people be turned off by hip-hop. Some people don't listen to rap. Yeah. And the people that do listen to rap don't listen. Some people don't listen to independent artists. And some people just listen to who they like. You know, you Pandora playlist. I want to hear Ashanti. You know, Ashanti's my favorite artist, so she might just hear something like. So when hip-hop is like, your reach is limited. You know what I'm saying? You're going to only reach so much because of the music, only by the music that you're making and the clients and the people that likes that music and buy that music. You basically putting yourself in a box with the type of music you make. With film, you can go anywhere with that. You meet new people, interesting people. And then on top of that, you doing an album, you have the most time to pay for features or collaborations or whatever with you know, and then half the time they don't promote the film. I mean the album or nothing like that. But the movie, you have 20, 30 people in there in a movie. You drop an album and a movie at the same time, that movie gonna get more views because they got more people involved in it. It's more of a team than music. You know, you got one person pushing a song, it's him against the world trying to buy a record besides 30, 45 people in one movie. Yeah. That's going to push this one film because all 45 people are in this movie. Yeah. You already know if you're in a movie, you're going to show somebody else. Yeah. And that's how the numbers duplicate. So if it's 45 in a movie, 9 out of 10 times they got a sister, brother, mother, somebody they going to show this movie to. Yeah. So out that 45 automatically doubles or triple. You're right. 45, 90. They're going to show somebody that 45 becomes 90, that 90 becomes something. So your numbers tripled up dramatically compared to rapping. If you by yourself as an artist, you got to go to the person individually like, yo, check my stuff out. check my stuff out.
Yeah.
You got to promote everything yourself, unless you got a promotional team or
Unless
brand
you
and
just got
marketing.
a banger.
A banger, unless you got a banger.
You got a banger.
But if the movie, even if a movie's bad or not, you got 30, 40 people that's going to show 30, 40 other people that's going to show 30, 40 other people. And then it depends on whoever you got in your movie. You might have one person in the movie that just a viral person no matter what they put up.
Right.
So, you know, that's why I said the filming, I'm glad I got into filming. That opened up way more doors in me than music.
Right. I can see how, man.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
When we spoke on the phone, we were talking about both of us having a podcast. And the problem that we see in Augusta when we're in the same lane, they're scared to, one, even work with the other person because they feel like they're going to take something from them. Or two, I guess either hate or steal some shine. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we were speaking and you had a good idea about podcasts around Augusta that have some tracks and kind of collaborate. You like to get into that?
Yeah. Basically, like, man, like, I be watching, like, Newbie Vet. Like, I watch live TV. I watch Drink Champs.
Right.
I watch, let me see, what else? Fresh and Fit.
Earn Your Leisure.
Joe Budden.
Good one.
Who?
Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah, I watch them. So, I mean, I watch a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
And just on the strength of, I like conversations. So, it ain't, you know, and then I just like, I just be looking at the other people that's in our field that's doing that. And I look at, like, with Augusta, I look at it like Augusta has enough artists, enough people with enough recognition and traction that they can, if they have a campaign where they're dropping an album or whatever, do a tour with these podcasts in the city. Like, stop at Studio 125. Stop with Newbie Vet. Start with Morning Masters podcast. Start with a art dealer. Like, there's a bunch of people in the city that do podcasting and they have traction. It just I just feel like a lot of artists, Augusta, I blame Augusta for that because there's nothing in Augusta that's telling everybody like, okay, these are the people in the city that do that. Yeah. These are the people in the city that do this. These are the people in the city that do this. So that way when an artist drops some stuff, you know, so when the studio, we don't have that down. We don't have something like a media thing where it tells, okay, you can have all the video directors in the city right here, all the what's the name people right here. And then, like, you know how that will just make everybody can grow off that. If you got every artist doing a tour of their stuff, visiting every podcast, you know, in that evens it out for everybody. It wouldn't be, it's for one, it's not no competition if you just sitting here talking, for one.
That's right.
You know, but I just feel like everybody needs to be highlighted in the podcasting field in the city, you know, and just tell everybody you know who's doing everything. So that way it can become a tour more than, let me go to this person. Oh, I ain't know about this person. I ain't hear about this person either.
Yeah.
I ain't hear about that person either. So I just feel like it needs to be some type of format in the city where everybody knows what shows are coming in the city, what podcasts are doing things. And I feel like another thing, like the birthday bash thing that they had down here, I think it would have been a lot better, a lot bigger if they would have came to the podcast people in the city. You know, everybody don't listen to the radio station.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, because that's one thing that kills me with artists. They come to the city, they'll go right to Foxy or whatever, and they do the interview. Shout out Sellers, shout out everybody, my boys. That's right. But they'll go to the radio station, but then overlook all the brands in the city because they don't know about it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine if they come to the city, you have an artist come to the city, Rod Wave or somebody come to the city, they come to Studio 125, do an interview with you about their show coming up. They come to Newbie Vet, do an interview. Yeah. They go there because everybody don't listen to the radio. So it's like,
everybody, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to reach people in the inner city, inside the city. We in the city.
The heartbeat of the city.
We the heartbeat of the city. Why not come to us and let us know what y'all got? If y'all coming to the city, contact us. Let us know, like, hey, you know, we got a concert coming Friday. What's the name? His manager. It don't got to be the artist. It can be his manager. It can be somebody. But I just feel like it needs to be some type of structure in the city where if artists coming in here, they need to know all the media platforms in the city besides the radio station because they do that shit in Atlanta. Like they go to all the podcasts. They don't just go to radio. They go to all the podcast media outlets, Drink Champs, all that, and do their interviews and all the other stuff. I feel like we need to have that structure here.
You can always tell when the artist has something going on. You can just follow the different platforms,
Right?
And you'll see that same artist starting to pop up. If you listen to the radio, you'll hear him on Ricky Smile, and then you'll see him on the podcast Drink Champs, and then you'll see him
over,
Right. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, why not? Why not? We in the city ain't like we just doing this for fun. We actually doing this for real, for real. We got establishment. You have a building, I have a building. Like everybody has buildings. We doing this stuff as establishment. Yeah. Why not unite the whole city? And I feel like that's how the city will grow because everybody's feeding off it. Mm-hmm. You can't just have, people coming here and they just go to one spot and then that's it. You think the whole city just listen to one area? That's what you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I just think, we just need it. It needs to be more acknowledgement and recognize people in the city that's doing something for the city.
Man, that's a hell of an idea. If we're able to get there, I think it changes everything.
It'll change us a lot, bro. I mean, just think about that, bro. Like, people come to the city, they don't know where all the seafood places at. They don't know where the soul food place is at, unless they ask people or they got to Google it. Why not have some type of internet thing or something like that where it can be We Are Augusta or something and just have everything in there, all the restaurants, all the soul food restaurants, all the Jamaican restaurants. That way when people come from out of the city to come here, they already know. Only thing they got to do is visit this site or whatever, and everything is there. All the information about the city is there. You know what I'm saying? Who are the DJs in the city? You know what I'm saying? Who are the top 10 artists of the city? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of artists come to the city and be like, they want to link up with the artists of that city that's popping. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I just feel like it needs to be some type of media thing where it highlights and tell everybody what's going on in the city.
That's a hell of an idea. How do we bring that to life?
That's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, for one, you gotta have some dedicated time for that because that means you gotta do some research. Mm-hmm. Because you doing that, you gotta make sure you go through the whole city and make sure you get everybody in the city, lease their name or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's gonna take a dedicated team to do that. People that got the time for that and always got time to update it because it's always gonna be updates.
It is
always gonna be updates. So I think. I wouldn't have the time for it because I already got enough by myself. So that's a whole nother platform by itself.
It is.
That's just waiting to be touched.
It would have to be an entire
It would have to be a entire platform just dedicated for that.
I couldn't be like a branch off of
what
somebody
can't
doing.
Branch
it's too big for that.
It's too big for that because you got too many businesses and too many things and then it needs to be a contact number. It needs to be where people can contact these people like, okay, well, what's the name? Well, we got... If they want to bring the artists here, they got to be able to contact the people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel.
All right, well,
yeah.
You guys heard that. It's a hell of an idea. I think it's one that'll work and unite us all.
Yeah.
Especially put some structure on the city too. Like you say, when they come in, they know who's who.
Who's who.
And how we get to where. Because when you come to Augusta, man, you really don't know how to do shit.
You don't know what the hell do nothing.
Man, it just look like don't nobody really move around here.
It's like it's dead, man. I've been seeing the artists come here, bro, and it's like they just want to... I hate with Augusta, they just bring the artists here. They just bring them to the club, radio station, hotel. That's it.
Out of here.
Like, they don't take them around. Like, there's so much stuff, other stuff in Augusta that people, but it's just the fact it's not being highlighted. Mm-hmm. It's not being highlighted. So I think it needs to be a change in that. Like, I want to see some artists. I want to see some big people out of town or that come to the city. I want them sitting at this red table talking to you.
Yeah, right.
Like, same way they sit at the radio station,
right.
Doing the same thing. And then when they leave the radio station, they go right to their hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just imagine, they coming down here. You go to the radio station. Now you go to Studio 125, Newbie. You can do all that in one day.
Yeah.
You can knock all that in one day.
Just a few hours.
Right. And then by doing that, that'll help our brands out a whole lot more. You don't think by people seeing all these artists that's come, these big artists coming to the city, all these people that's coming to the city, if they on our brands, on our podcast talking about the upcoming events or whatever, you don't think them numbers going to help our brands out tremendously? That draws more people from out of town to come to the city, to spend more money in the city.
Yeah.
But it's like if the city's not trying to put everybody in together, it's still that separation stuff. Cause like radio station do their thing, they do their thing. That's just a radio station. They don't incorporate the neighborhood and everything. We are the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? We are the neighborhood. We interview people in the neighborhood. Everybody can't go on a radio station and get an interview, but they can come to us to do that. So I just feel like I feel like people in the city, it needs to be some type of structure. That's what I feel.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, now that it's on my mind, man. I mean, because I didn't think about it. When you told me that on the phone, I was thinking about it after we got off. I was like, man, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And how to go about it, I was like, well, I can't wait to talk to him because I have no fucking idea.
I mean, prime thing I say, I will holler at the radio station because that's what I'll holler at some of the DJs that be at the radio station and basically the person that's over the radio station. I'll holler at them and be like, okay, or holler at the artist or whatever. Because of course it might be some type of restriction where they, but I feel like same way they can come to the radio station, they can come to everywhere else. I feel like if they in the city, they here. It's media, and attention is attention.
Even if they can't be in person, I mean, a Zoom call would be the same.
It'd be the same.
It'd be the same. Get them on the platform.
It'd be the platform.
Yeah.
You're not knowing that Studio 125 got these much people that's watching this stuff. That's money that can come into your event just by him doing an interview with you, telling people about the event, bring that crowd. Yeah. So it's like I say I'll start with the DJs and let them know, like, hey man, we trying to do this. What can y'all do to help us trying to unite the whole city? Because it has to start with them because that's the place that everybody go to do their interview and leave.
Yeah.
So if we can get the DJs on board or the radio stations on board and be like, okay, we need y'all in media, but we in media too as well. Let's all unite that stuff like this. They can go to y'all first. I don't care. They go to y'all first. But just make sure they do their rounds with everybody else in the city. 125, Newbie Vet, Art Dealer, More Than Masters, like make them do their rounds. Yeah. So
right about that, man.
Yeah. So it put then by then, man, you put in so many people, brands and stuff, you put them up there like instantly. Yeah. And it helps the city, man. You start having people coming to Augusta just to do podcasting with us. Just to get a video shot, just to do different things in the city.
Yeah, because it's a lot more smaller towns around us. So we'll start bringing the people out of those towns once they realize, hey, man, I can just go right here to Augusta and probably be picked up somewhere else.
Right.
At least get some shine.
Right.
But you're right, man. Until we change that mentality here.
Got to. I mean, Atlanta do it. Atlanta, they do it, bro. Like, Atlanta do it. Everybody, Atlanta's the entertainment capital. Atlanta's no different than any other place when it comes to media, man. Media is media, no matter where it's from.
It's not. It's all about the mindset.
It's all about the mindset.
They know they can get it done up there.
Right.
So they just get it done.
Right.
And that's just kind of how it goes. Down here, everybody I talk to, the first thing they say is, man, that shit ain't going to happen, man, Augusta. I'm like, well, you do realize that you have the mentality too. If you goddamn change your mind and I change my mind, they go two people. The rest of the city to go. You know what I'm saying? But it got to start with you. Right. But everybody's stuck on this, what Augusta can't be.
I hate hearing that. I hear that so much in the interviews, man. Like, I asked them that question. I asked them that question for a reason, because I survey it. I'd be like, what are some things Augusta can change on? And everybody say the same thing, man, Augusta ain't gonna change. Augusta is changing, whether you believe it or not. Yeah. It's some things changing before your eye. It's just so small, people overlooking the change because it's not massive yet. But there's changes in the city. Like, I mean, I moved here 4 or 5 years ago, so it's like when I moved here, there wasn't no interviews down here. Like, wasn't no interviews when I first came down here. The only ones that were doing the interviews was the radio station. But they wasn't interviewing local talent. They were just interviewing people celebrities that came in the city. I'm like, well, we need a spot where people in the city have a voice.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of interview podcasts that's popping up. You have maybe like 1 or 2 videographers in the city. You got so many videographers now. It's been a lot of black entrepreneurs in the city I've seen pop up with businesses like fast clothing lines, all types of stuff in the city,
especially since COVID.
Since COVID, bro.
Yeah, COVID was the best thing for a lot of people.
COVID, bro. COVID boosted my company up dramatically. Like, we was doing good already, but when COVID hit, man, it just took us to a whole nother level because it's like, okay, people wanted out. People had time to sit down and write. People had time to do this, and they wanted more visuals done. So now we're living in the visual era where everything's more visual and stuff now. So, you know, good business to be in if you're going to be a cameraman. Good business to be in.
I tell people, man, COVID was, I mean, yeah, a lot of people lost their life, so I don't want to sound insensitive, but COVID was the best thing for a lot of people because it took them out of their comfort zone.
Right.
That everyday routine of going back and forth to work, you know, staying in that routine. And now you don't have that. So now your dreams, your ambitions, all that has been sitting on the dresser. Let me blow this off. Let me try this. And now you have the confidence, you know what I'm saying, to actually try it.
Right.
And that's what COVID did to a lot of people, make them stand out.
Right.
I mean, take a step out.
Take a step out, yeah.
Hey, yeah, man. Yeah. So, man, I really appreciate you coming, man. It was a dope interview.
Man, yeah, most definitely. I appreciate you having me, man. It's a dope vibe, man. Dope experience, too. Love the facilities and everything, man. It's nice.
All right. Before we get out of here, tell everybody how they can reach you. How they can reach you to be, because you got so many different things you do.
Just to reach me.
How can they, if they want to do some beats, if they want to be in the film, if they want to produce their own film, how can they reach you?
Okay. You can reach me at the website at www.ctcunitedproductionstudio.com. That's the website. They can book there, book the studio there. They can buy beats from there. Schedule photo shoots from there. Basically schedule everything from there.
Okay.
I'll be trying to not talk to that many people. You know, because you be busy and you don't want to be accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, everybody can't be accessible to you. You know, that's another thing in business. Doing business, like, I know you want to, not you, but I know people be wanting to work with everybody. But you can't, you know, in business, you got to you got to put a value on yourself where everybody can't get that value. You know what I'm saying? You can't make yourself accessible to everybody. You lose your value, the more accessible you get to everybody. So, but yeah, man, they can reach me at CTC United Productionstudio.com. Facebook, J. Paul the Demigod, or Jazz J. Paul Mosley. Instagram, J. Paul the Demigod. You can just Google J. Paul the Demigod, all that pops up. But yeah.
Okay.
I don't do the numbers. I don't do the phone numbers.
I feel you on that, man.
Yeah.
Well, all right, you guys got the contact information. You see what he had to provide for the city. Once again, this is the first Black-owned film productions studio in Augusta.
Hopefully not the last. Hope we get some more people.
Most definitely, man. Yeah. You got the young guys that know it's possible now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's one thing. Growing up, you have to be able to see. If you don't see, if you grew up in the projects, you don't think that stuff is real.
Yeah, man.
You know, so now having people like us actually doing stuff in the city, now they know, okay, well, this ain't that bad. I can actually do that, or boy, them doing it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't no different than me. I see them riding around.
Right.
Shit, JR still got a regular job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shit, so he a regular guy. So they see that, and they're more willing to go after it, you know? So once again, this has been Studio 125 Local Business Highlight. I am your host, JR King. Again, we've been here with J. Paul the Demigod. Thank you again, brother.
No problem, King. I appreciate you having me, man.
Y'all have a good one.